Hi there, how's it going? My name is Jess. I am so excited to get to share my testimony with you today. I am just so in awe of everything that God is doing in my life, and so I'm thankful for this time that I get to share my story with you. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just dive right in. So, I grew up Catholic. I grew up going to private Catholic schools and attending Mass on Sundays, and my mom was actually on staff at a Catholic church, and so my siblings and I were very involved in the Catholic Church. It wasn't until I got to high school where I went through what I call a phase where I was really rebellious. I was rebelling against, the rules and regulations, and I just didn't want to listen really to anything that my mom had to say to me, or really what anyone had to say, to me. I was sneaking out of the house. I was looking for love in all the wrong places. It was just a really hard time in my life. But I know that it was, God that was really able to, help me mend a lot of those relationships that I hurt in the past. And so after that, I tried to go back to the Catholic church, but it was very difficult because I had tattoos and I had pink hair, and so I felt very looked down upon. I felt like people were judging me, and I had, people come up to me and ask me stuff like, hey, your body's a temple, so, your tattoos, those are going to be on your body forever. And so I just had a lot of people, question a lot of the decisions I had made. And so, in my head, I'm over here thinking, well, God has forgiven me, so the people around me should too, but that wasn't necessarily the case. And so I just felt very judged. I was very hurt by the Catholic Church. So I continued to go to Mass to make my family happy, really. I'd go occasionally, but I worked for Buffalo Wild Wings at that time. So Sunday mornings were always a really good day to work, Sunday morning football. So I was really just digging myself in work and trying to avoid a lot of church outings. So it wasn't until I started dating a Christian who was from out of town. So he was here in Phoenix, attending Grand Canyon University, which is a Christian university. So we started dating, and shortly after our relationship started, he asked me if I would go to church with him. Since, he knew that I wasn't really, into church. I guess he knew I wasn't very comfortable with the Catholic Church. He suggested we try a Christian church, which, I vividly remember my parents saying, if you ever go to a Christian church, just remember you're slapping God in the face. And so that was like a really big deal, that I actually agreed to go to a Christian church with this guy. So he actually let me pick the Christian church. And the way that I picked the Christian church, it's an awesome story. Side story, a friend from high school, her parents received counseling through a Christian church. And so the person who would counsel them, his name, Pastor Leo Gozich, who has now passed away, who has been deceased now for 6 years, he would counsel them. And so although they were Catholic, they would receive counseling through Phoenix First Assemblies. So I remember my friend kept inviting me to this church over and over again. And so that's when I was in high school. And so now, being a sophomore in college, I decided to go and give that church a try. So the reason why that story is so cool is because Pastor Leo Gozich, his daughter, is now like one of my best friends. And I've gained so many friendships now attending this church. But sorry, going back to my story, I started attending Phoenix First Assembly, and I absolutely fell in love, not only with the church, but with Jesus. I fell in love with having a relationship with God. I finally was able to realize the difference between having a relationship with God and following a religion. And so things with my boyfriend and I at that time got very serious. We ended up getting engaged, and I wish I could say that, we're still together, but we actually ended up not getting married. So a few months before the wedding, he reached out to me and just told me that, he really felt that I was getting closer to God, and that I was, so close to a breakthrough, and that he just wanted me to just continue my spiritual walk with God alone. And so that was very difficult for me. I didn't understand. I had like no words. But I am just so thankful that he did that for me, because since I was getting so close to God and close to him at the same time, I almost started putting the characteristics of God onto him, which was a lot of pressure, you know. And so I'd get angry with him very easily, and we would fight, and it just wasn't a healthy relationship anymore. And so after, you know, Brett and I broke up, I really just started digging in. I started, you know, praying without ceasing. I was just on fire for God, and I still am. You know, 2 years after, I'm still on fire for God, and I've been pressing in more than ever. And I know that, you know, God is still working in my life, and he will continue to work on my life until the day he calls me home. And although, you know, my family views me and they think I'm confused, and they, you know, worry for me because I'm not, you know, in their eyes attending church. I'm not going to mass. I'm going to church, you know, every single Sunday. You know, I'm a volunteer in the youth. I'm getting my degree in ministerial leadership. I am, you know, so just thankful that God has truly just revealed my calling, and that God has just, you know, put so many friendships in my, you know, life that really are just godly friendships that keep pouring into my life. And although it's difficult, you know, to see my family, you know, going to Catholic Mass on Sundays and then living a different life Monday through Saturday, you know, that's very hard to watch. And so I'm praying, you know, for their transformation, and I'm praying that God really just, you know, touches their heart. And I know for a fact, though, that God is just not done. God is not done in my life, and God is not done in your life, and God is not done in my parents' life. And so this is a very short testimony, because I just know that, you know, it isn't over. God is still working on my testimony. And so I'm just on fire for God, and I'm just so thankful that I get to share this with you guys, this experience of going to Southeastern University with you guys. So again, just wish you all the best, and I'll see you. Bye.